Welcome to my channel. This is a proverbial series where we reflect on the different lessons that are provided in the book of Proverbs and how we can apply those lessons into our different lives. The proverb that is guiding our conversation in this episode is Proverbs 20, verse 17. Bread gained by deceit is sweet to a man, but afterwards his mouth will be filled with gravel. I'm sure the suspects of the NYS scandal, KEMSA scandal, any corruption case in Africa that you can think of, when this suspect got these jobs, I'm sure they were delighted. They were bragging to their friends how they've just gotten the deal of the century. And afterwards, even when they were paid, when they were paid this money, how they globetrotted, what apartments, what the latest car, the latest designer clothing. And anyone who was a hearer of this such good news will actually wonder and ponder, am I in the right business? Maybe I should become a entrepreneur. This sitting in the office, these small businesses, SMEs, SMEs are not working in my favor. How can I, like one person said, not walk outside a government organization and get this big tender? And honestly speaking, I was just like any other person, wondering, how is it that people get these tenders? How is it that you get a 500 million tender as a whole family? Mother, brother, sister, cousin, uncle, and it just benefits you all. Lo and behold, if these people were your friends, after all the parties, after all the globe tropping, 3 or 1 month later, you hear scandal exposed. It's like I don't know if it's in our nation, but it's always a scandal is exposed. And this news for like a whole month, you see the different ways that they are treated by the police officers. You see them thrown in court here and there and here. And you're like, oh my goodness, this tender clearly was not found in a legit way. Because if they had found it in a legitimate way, why were there so many questions that were being raised by the public oversight bodies? Why is it there were only one person who tendered? How is it that there was no public portal where all these tenders were advertised? And questions that you are asking yourself about leaving your small SMEs to become a tenderpreneur start popping up. These people in our wonder and our way just found an illegal way to be able to access this tender. And the scripture tells us that this bread, this tender, this labor that was found by deceit, that was found by fraud, that was found in an unrighteous way, is sweet to a man. It looks nice when someone is telling you the way I'm getting this tender and I don't need to apply for it. The county has already ensured that my name is on the list, and you can be like, oh my goodness, maybe I'm not doing the right thing. But this way might seem sweet in the beginning, but the scripture warns us. Afterwards, his mouth will be filled with gravel. Before even I shot this video, I just decided to look at some of what happened to some of the NYS scandal suspects. And one PS, permanent secretary, the shame that was scourged to her name, that she lost her job, she can no longer be employed to a public office, and the shame of working so hard and for you to be demoted, not being able to access your bank accounts, not being able to sleep in your home in safety. Every day as you walk, the police are chasing you, calling you back to the law courts, and your life lacks peace. And this is what I think sometimes the scripture tells us, that we can think that our ways are prosperous, we can think our ways are beneficial, but in the end of time, the way that is there is just total devastation, because that sweetness, that tender will become stones in your mouth. It will become such a sore thumb unto you, and you'll wonder, was there even a purpose? You've ended up maybe bribing 50 officials to get that tender, so even your profit margin is just like 10% of all the effort, all the bribing. And then on top of that, after getting only 10%, the amount of money that you have to use with lawyers, the amount of money that you have to bribe the police officer, everyone will just start eating from you. And in our country, it's so funny how sometimes there's this quote amongst, I think, us regular people about police officers, city council, askaris, and sometimes teachers, how in later life, you never seem to find a police officer who is rich, who has operated in the ways of bribery. It's like down the line, it affects you, and that bread that felt so sweet becomes a sore thumb into your life. And I just want to leave you with the words of Proverbs that don't fret, don't be jealous about what someone else is doing. If your bread is being found in just ways, not to say that there are people who are not getting tenders in these big organizations in the right way, but just ensure that whatever business, whatever employment that you're undertaking, that you're not undertaking it with a reason to have it become gravel in your mouth, but rather that it can be a continuous blessing to your own life, to your own children's life, and all your generations down to come. So thank you so much for watching my channel. I'll leave a few links for you to watch on different lessons that have been shared from the book of Proverbs.